Hey there, viewers. Today we're diving into a challenging topic. Have you ever heard of Munchausen Syndrome by proxy? It's a rare but serious form of abuse that often goes unnoticed. Imagine a parent making their child sick on purpose. Sounds unthinkable, right? Yet, it happens more often than we'd like to believe. In this video, we'll explore what Munchausen Syndrome by proxy is. We'll look at its causes, how to spot it, and ways to prevent it. This information could help save a child's life one day. So let's get started and learn about this complex issue together. First, let's understand what Munchausen Syndrome by proxy really is. It's also known as factitious disorder imposed on another. In simple terms, it's when a caregiver fakes or causes illness in someone they're caring for. Most often, it's a parent doing this to their child. The caregiver might lie about symptoms, mess with test results, or even hurt the child. They do this to make it look like the child is sick. It's a form of child abuse, but it's also a mental health issue for the caregiver. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone do this? The reasons are complex, but let's break them down. Many caregivers who do this have had difficult pasts themselves. They might have experienced abuse or neglect when they were young. This can lead to deep-seated emotional issues. Some have personality disorders that affect how they think and behave. They might have an intense need for attention or sympathy from others. Making their child appear sick gives them that attention. It's like they're using the child's illness to fill an emotional void. Let's look at an example to help understand this better. Imagine a mother named Sarah who brings her daughter to the hospital frequently. Sarah always seems worried and talks a lot about her daughter's symptoms. She insists on tests and procedures, even when doctors say they're not needed. The girl seems fine when Sarah's not around, but gets sick when she returns. This pattern repeats over and over. Sarah gets praise from doctors and nurses for being so caring. She feels important and needed when she's at the hospital. This is how Munchausen Syndrome by proxy often looks in real life. Now, how can we spot this kind of abuse? It's tricky because the caregivers are often very good at hiding it. They seem loving and concerned on the surface. But there are some signs to watch out for. Look for a child with a long, complicated medical history. If the child has been to many doctors but never gets better, that's a red flag. Pay attention if the child's symptoms only happen when the caregiver is around. Be wary if the caregiver seems too eager for medical procedures. If what the caregiver says doesn't match what doctors observe, that's suspicious. Here's another example to illustrate this. A boy named Tommy is always in and out of the hospital. His dad, John, insists Tommy has severe allergies and breathing problems, but when Tommy's at school, he seems perfectly healthy. The teachers never see any signs of illness. John gets upset when doctors suggest Tommy might not need more tests. He keeps pushing for new treatments and medications. This mismatch between what John says and what others see is a big warning sign. Preventing Munchausen Syndrome by proxy is a team effort. Doctors, nurses, and other healthcare workers need special training. They need to know what signs to look for and how to document them. Good communication between different medical teams is crucial. If a child sees many doctors, those doctors should talk to each other. This helps spot patterns that might not be obvious at first. Education is also key in prevention. Teachers, family members, and neighbors should learn about this issue. If more people know what to look for, it's harder for abuse to go unnoticed. Communities can organize workshops or share information online. The more we talk about it, the less taboo it becomes. Sometimes the caregivers themselves need help. Many are struggling with their own mental health issues. Offering counseling and support to stressed parents can make a big difference. It might stop the problem before it even starts. Let's hear what some experts have to say about this. Dr. Mary Sanders, a child psychologist, she says,
MSBP is one of the most complex forms of child abuse because it involves manipulation and deceit on such an intricate level. Caregivers can mask their behaviors under the guise of being deeply concerned for the child.
She points out how tricky it can be to identify. The caregivers often seem very concerned and loving. This makes it hard to believe they could be causing harm. Dr. Jennifer Thompson, a pediatrician, stresses the importance of early detection. She adds,
Preventing MSBP requires early detection, but it also necessitates psychological support for caregivers before the problem escalates. Many parents who commit this type of abuse are emotionally unstable and need intervention themselves.
She also highlights the need for psychological support for the caregivers. Many of these parents need help themselves. By addressing their emotional needs, we might prevent the abuse from happening. Now, what happens when Munchausen syndrome by proxy is discovered? The first priority is always the safety of the child. This might mean removing the child from the caregiver's custody. The caregiver will need intensive psychological treatment. It's a long and difficult process for everyone involved, but with proper help, both the child and the caregiver can recover. Remember, this is a rare condition. Most parents who bring their children to the doctor are genuinely concerned. We don't want to create unnecessary fear or suspicion, but being aware of the possibility can help protect vulnerable children. We've covered a lot of ground today on a tough topic. Munchausen syndrome by proxy is complex and deeply troubling. But knowledge is power, and now you know more about it. If you ever suspect something's not right, speak up. You could be saving a child from years of unnecessary suffering. Remember, it takes a community to keep children safe. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Share it with others who might benefit from this information. And if you have any thoughts or experiences to share, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and take care.